Hello and welcome back to Alchemy Ship. My name is Andrash and today I want to dive into something I found to be a crucial element of game development, which is writing a game design document, or GDD for short. So what exactly is a game design document? Well, it is a document that details every aspect of your game, from core concepts and style all the way to its production plan and tools. It is especially useful if you're working in a team because it ensures everyone is on the same page of what you're trying to achieve. But even if you're working alone like me, it can give you a really nice base on which you can fall back to whenever you get lost or stuck. You can think of it like a blueprint for a game, and it helps you keep all the necessary information in one place and also prevents scope creep. Now what does that look like? Well, essentially that's up to you. It depends on what your needs are and how detailed you want to make it. Let's look at an example that follows a really standard GDD structure. This document has three main sections: high-level concept, product design, and game design. Let's look at the first one. High-level concept is almost like an elevator pitch. It includes stuff like title, concept statement, genre, target audience, and unique selling point. Now let's fill this in. So the title, or working title, is pretty self-explanatory, so let's move on to the concept statement. This is your short pitch for the game, 1 or 2 sentences that tell what the game is and why it is fun. The genre is again pretty obvious, so let's move on to the target audience and unique selling point. Now this might not be important to you, maybe you're just making the game for fun, and if not, this is just one of those things that might be more relevant if you want to show this document to a potential investor or publisher, but if you're serious about making a successful game, this is one of those things that you should think about. Who will play this game and why? It will help you critically assess your game to see if you're bringing something new and interesting to the market. So this is the high-level concept. Now let's move on to product design. This is the place where you explain the player experience, style, game world or story, monetization, and platform technology and scope. For player experience, you write who is the player, what is the setting, and what emotions the player is supposed to feel, what kind of fantasy the game grants. For the style, you should explain the visual and auditory style of the game. You can use other games as references or examples, but also any other media like music, movies, and art. In the game world or story part, you should briefly describe the backstory, what important elements of it set the stage for the game, how the story is presented to the player, and how do they progress through it. For monetization, just write what kind of model the game will have. Is it free-to-play, premium, or a bit of both? If it has in-game purchases, describe how they're integrated in the rest of the game's design. And in the final subsection of product design, you write about what hardware and software will be used to make the game, the team behind it, and if you can, what is the scope and how long do you plan to work on it. These first two parts of the GDD generally stay the same throughout the development because we're mostly talking about concept and intent, not the actual work plan. But that is certainly not the case with the game design. This is the longest section of the document. It describes the game to its very last detail. All the locations, all the levels, enemies, items, player controls, menus, everything the game contains is explained here. But it is up to you to determine how detailed you want to be here. Probably you don't have every last thing completely planned out, so you can just write about it more broadly, and when you get to it, return here and write it up. This part of the GDD is the main reason people like to call it a live document. You should be updating it as you work on the game, as new concepts, mechanics, or content gets explored or figured out, and just have it be a hub for your project where all the necessary information is stored so you don't have to keep it in your head all the time. Now you might ask yourself, do I really need this? I'm just going to decide stuff on the fly. But this lack of planning and vision is where the scope creeps up really quickly, and you can lose focus on what is important. It can also prevent you from over-polishing, which often comes up when you don't know where to go next or get stuck on a particular problem. Those are the moments you can just open this document and see what else is there to do. But something that might even be the most important part is that writing this document is going to make you look critically at every aspect of your game and give you the chance to understand potential design flaws or production risks that you might face so you correctly prepare for them. Writing a GDD has been a huge help for me to figure out what this game is supposed to look like in the end and how big is it going to be. It was a tough process, but now I have a great understanding of what's to come, and it also made it a lot easier to come up with a short-term and long-term plan. I cannot recommend writing this document enough. This was a bit of a different video from what I usually do, but I really liked making it. I want to talk about more topics like this, stuff that is relatable to a bigger amount of people and hopefully also a little helpful. There are a lot of things that I'm learning throughout my game development journey, and I would like to share bits and pieces that help me out a lot and also present them from my perspective. Let me know if you want to see more stuff like this, and if you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you like it, maybe share it, and down in the comments below let me know what you think about it, and if you have any suggestions or advice yourself, it's always great to hear other people's perspectives and experiences. And as always, if you don't want to miss the next video, hit that subscribe button and I'll catch you up in the next one. Cheers!